Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. It's so hard to believe that another year is finally here. If you're like me, 2020 was miserable. I'm sure it was for each and every one of us. But what's exciting is the fact that we now have time to look forward to a new year. And just like that, 2020 is gone and 2021 is here. And opportunities are going to abound, opportunities to start fresh and do things new and exciting and like you haven't done them in 2020 since we couldn't do much. And for many people, this is a time when you realize that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and fed up of being fed up, and you look yourself in the eye and say, this is my year. Now in this video, I want to give you 5 things that are holding you back. Now maybe not all of these 5 relate to you, maybe 1 or 2. And I know that the list is much longer than just these 5, but it's a starting point on things that you can look at within your own self to ensure that you can correct these so you can get 2021 off to the right start. The first thing is caring too much about what everybody else thinks. You know, a lot of times we do things for the sake of other people, whether we want to admit it or not. We date people because it's who our friends or our family think should be the ideal person for us to date. Sometimes we take on certain jobs or careers because it's an expectation within the family. Maybe it's because we strive to get the acceptance of others. I don't know what it is, but I know that a lot of us spend way too much time considering and thinking and overthinking about what someone else is going to think about our decision. I'll give you an example. When I wanted to start my YouTube channel, there was a part of me that had that slight hesitation about what are my friends going to think? Is my wife going to think that I'm a bit of a kook because I'm trying to start something that's probably for the younger generation? But at the end of the day, it was a desire of mine, something that I wanted to do for myself and for the very purposes in which I do it. And so I had to put aside what I thought other people might think. Because the reality is sometimes people may not think the negative that you think they're going to think about it. Sometimes they will. But at the end of the day, any goal or aspiration you have should be done because it's meaningful to you. And if you care about it, what does it matter what other people think? And number 2 is not acknowledging your own successes. Sometimes we get so fixated on where we're trying to go that we fail to recognize where we've been. You know, we think, well, I'm not the CEO yet, but we fail to recognize and appreciate the fact that we're currently the manager. You know, we started off at an entry-level position, we've made our way up a couple of steps, but because we're not at the top of that pecking order, we think that there's not something that we've done correctly so far. Regardless of the struggles that you've had, do you take the time to appreciate the trials that you've overcome? Next, we need to look at your circle or your friends. Now, I know you might say to me, hey, Kevin, these are my day ones. These are my ride or die. These are the ones that have had my back from the time that I was a kid. Now, I'm not saying that you need to just cut off your friends, start a whole new crew and a whole new circle. But what I'm saying to you is that if the people you acquaint yourself with most often, if they themselves are complacent people, if they are individuals who don't really value their future perspective, if they don't encourage you and push you to be your best, then that is something that is holding you back. Many years ago, I was at a church youth service, and the pastor that was there was giving this discussion about friendships. And he made this statement: show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you your future. Now, when I first heard that, I thought to myself, oh, that's a bunch of nonsense. That doesn't make any sense. Until I really took stock in it and really thought about what he was saying. And the 5 people that I would have considered probably the closest to me, or the ones that really had my back at that time, out of that 5, 3 of them were in jail and 1 had been murdered. And I want you to take into consideration those that you hang out with the most, those that you affiliate with the most. Ask yourself and be honest. Are these closest people to me the ones that are going to help me see my goals come true? Next is money. Let's not be fooled. Money is an important factor in life. Money is an important factor in helping us achieve the things that we want to achieve. But I want to challenge you with this one thing, and I'm going to use my YouTube beginnings as a story for you. You know, when I first started off in YouTube, I thought I needed all the big fancy cameras and the lights that I was seeing all these these well-known YouTubers were talking about and promoting on their channels, until I came across a video that had me rethink something as simple as the lighting that I use. I've been recently looking on Amazon and contemplating, should I spend that $150 on this light, until I came across a video where a guy talked about his own softbox light that he made for under $30. And I thought to myself, you know what, that's clever. So I went over to Dollarama, picked up a few items, and literally in under $30, I made my own softbox light. And something that I thought was gonna hold me back because I was contemplating, should I really spend that money? We're in a pandemic, it was 2020. Should I be spending money on things that I probably don't really need to? But I felt, because I wanted to get my channel started, that I really needed that light. But the point I'm making here is that sometimes we can get so fixated thinking that money is going to fix everything for us, and that if we just had enough of it, we'd be able to get our dreams on the road. And I want to tell you that that's absolute nonsense. If you really want to get your dream started, if it's about starting a business, if it's about planning for a vacation, if it's about planning to get out of debt, there are many simple little things you can do that cost you nothing or very, very little, that will also help you get on your path to your destination where you want to get to. And the fifth thing I want to talk about is obsessing about the results rather than the process. I recently had a conversation with my niece who watched my last video about New Year's resolutions, and she was making some goals for herself for 2021. And when we were talking about it, I said to her, what are your goals? And one of them that she said, I want to be an A student. And I said, great, I'm glad that you want to be an A student, but how are you going to get there? She said, I don't know. And I said, again, let's look at making goals smart. Let's look at what the process is. What do we need to do in order to get to that end result? If we just focus on getting the good grades, we miss the opportunity to ensure that we are getting ready to go through the process. And so when we reworked those goals, we looked at what she needed to do between now and when those test results and those grade results would come out, and how she could achieve that goal. Focusing on the end result is only a small part of what you need to do. Look at the process. Focus on the process. It is in the times of trials and tribulations and the fire when you get refined the most. So if you want to ensure that you're not being held back, I encourage you to make sure that you start to realign yourself to focus on the process and not just the end result. I'm curious to hear from you and your thoughts about what other things might be holding you back. This is a year of 2021 and we want new beginnings. Coronavirus and COVID-19 and all that other nonsense from 2020 has completely left us shaken and confused. But 2021, I want to say to you, is an opportunity for you to start fresh, start over, and get going. Peace and love.